Matt, what are you seeing early on just in terms of energy from the team and the enthusiasm, things like that?
Well, I think our enthusiasm, our energy has been pretty good. That was actually our focus today. I think, you get through workouts and you get through conditioning and, guys are excited about going the first couple of days and doing stuff. Now, as you start to practice and, can they stay with it? Can they start to, have that carryover? I think that's going to be important, especially for young guys. Can they have carryover and from one practice to another? And, guys that are going to play will. And I think getting that consistent play across the board is what you're always looking for as a coach.
Great
Pretty good listening team. What you can tell so far?
So far, I think our freshmen are really good. I think fighting through some injuries. Dakota's been out and hurt his foot the other day, and he's been battling some of the symptoms from mono that he had in the spring, so it's been tough for him. So hopefully we can get him back here in the next couple days. He's supposed to go on Thursday, but no, our group's been pretty good listening, and we just don't have a lot of upperclassmen, so it's very hard. So it's really important for the ones that are, to lead by example and be very vocal.
What do you see in terms of the point guard role? How is that shaping out? What do you need to see?
Well, I think different guys could play there. Obviously, Bryson and PJ are the two guys that we're playing there predominantly in practice, and just need those guys to get everybody involved. It's no secret that we need to play inside out. We don't need those guys, starting the offense by shooting after one pass or somebody else after one pass, unless it's a wide open shot by a really good shooter like Kendall Stevens or somebody. They need to get the ball inside, especially the A.J. Hammonds. They need to run our team. And so that takes time. You have to know what's going on to do those things. So for a young guy like PJ, it'll take a little bit of time. Bryson has a year under his belt, but, we'll see. It's still, really early. We're just in our third practice.
If that question mark doesn't get answered, do you ask for something different or, I wouldn't say less from the point guard than you would in other years, but...
No, I think you just use some people in the kind of a more unconventional role, and I've talked about that before. Dakota's a guy that can really pass and can really shoot. Trying to maybe mix him in there, or Vince Edwards. You have to start, two threes, and you start him at the 4 and let him bring the ball up. He always brought the ball up in high school, all 3 years, sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I watched him in high school. He would bring the ball up all the time and have a different guy on him. I think that's kind of, wouldn't be conventional, but we have to do a good job of just making good decisions and taking care of the basketball, and I prefer not to get to that point.
Talked before about you feel like Hammond's supporting cast can make him a lot better this year. How much can Hammonds make his supporting cast better?
I think it's two ways. Obviously with him making a better decision, I think the more skill you put around him, we haven't put enough skill around him in his first 2 years, in my opinion. That's my fault. I think the more skill we can put around him, with a guy like Stevens and Mathias and Edwards, and Thompson, and guys that can shoot, really stretch the defense and shoot the basketball. I think that's going to help. But then he's also got to do his part in terms of his decision making. Anytime you get the ball a lot, you got to make good decisions when they double and they come on a quick ball. So, but no, he's really made strides, and each year he's made strides. But that decision making, I think, piece is going to be really important.
You're only a few days into it, but do you envision AJ and Isaac being on the floor?
They'll play a little bit together. We'll see. They've been banging each other, so they're both kind of hurt, as you guys watched a little bit here, trying to finish practice. But no, we've messed around with both those guys being on the floor in some team workouts type things in September. But we'll see.
Two guys with that tall skills, how big an asset?
Well, I think it's an asset offensively.
Yeah.
We'll see if it's an asset defensively. I know they can protect the rim, trying to cover everything, whether you're in man or whether you're in zone. I think time will tell. I like the offensive part of it. But anytime we've went zone, A.J. Hammonds has really done a good job rebounding, whether we've been in a traditional 2-3 or a 1-2-2 when both of those guys are in. It really helps him by the rim. So I don't say this begrudgingly or sarcastic, but he doesn't block out anyways. So he's been one of those guys. Some of the best rebounders ever were that way. They just go get the ball. He's that guy. We just got to get him to go get the ball all the time. I think if he goes and gets the ball all the time and he can stay by the rim more, he can get 10 rebounds a game. That's what we need from him.
What do you need to see from Ray this year?
Ray's been great. Ray's is a good leader. He's a hard-working guy. Just needs to piece things together. I think his hard work is really going to pay off. I think he's more relaxed. He's more comfortable in the roles that he's in this year. I talk about actual playing, but just, more his team. Anytime you're an upperclassman and you've been around, you're more comfortable being in the locker room, being away from the coaches. I think the playing will take care of itself. Just kind of he settles down. I think that's probably the best word to use for him. He knows what's going on now. That really helps. Last year was better, but I think he's more comfortable because he understands more what's expected.
Going back to the point guard play, like out of Bryson, you need to see for him to be like kind of floor general.
Just the decision making. He's always been a guy that's been a lead guard. That's really just always been on attack. You can't always be on attack. And if you are, you got to be a great decision maker. And that's going to be a telltale for him. He's making some strides in those areas, but he's still got a long way to go. You can't just attack every single time, and you can't attack a set defense. He's got to understand the difference, when to go, when not to go, depending on how the defense is playing. So I think that's going to be, for him. His assist turnover ratio will be better, but he needs to be a pass first type guy for us. The shooters we have in the low post play, that's what we really need from him.
He can be kind of that tone setter for you on defense.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a zone or man.
I think jamming the basketball and getting into it. You guys watched a little bit today in practice. He gets into guys. He makes them go fast. He disrupts things. I think that's important. He's got to be able to play away from the basketball defensively, but he's very, very good at getting on the ball and hawking it.
It's important in a zone, though, to have that guy too who just can kind of pinball around.
Oh,
attack
sure.
the ball when it's
attack the ball, but also be able to get into the passing lanes. Not let the ball get into the high post is very important against the zone. Just being around, digging it out of the low post and the high post once it does get in. Having guys that are aggressive and instinctive really help.
Just your three sophomores this year. Last year they came in as freshmen, and they were pretty outspoken about how hard they were working. Do you feel like they all have a step they need to make? Do you feel like they're still
no question
hungry?
That's I talk about Ray Feld, I talk about AJ Hammonds and being older. Those guys really as freshmen now becoming sophomores really have to step up for us and lead by example. More than anything, just work hard every single day and lay it on the line. I think Kendall has improved physically, but we need him to do more things. He didn't come here to be a good shooter. He came here to be a good player. And that's what we need from him. We need him to be a good all-around player. Basil Smotherman's got to be productive. He's got energy at times. Other times he doesn't. He's got to be an energizer bunny. He's got to be a guy that all the time has that type of energy. And he's shown that. He's shown flashes of that. And that's what we need from him. Just being all over the court, offensively and defensively. And obviously we've talked about Bryson, who's in great physical shape. He's got the ability to play hard and really be a disturbance out there on the defensive end. And then offensively, use those skills in the open court to drive the basketball. But then when things aren't there, get other people involved. I think those things are important for all of us.
How good a zone defensive team can you guys be?
I have no idea. But we are working on it. So,
is that tough? I mean,
here's the problem, Pete. You go against yourself. You know what I mean? And so until you get against others and those guys doing what they want to do, it's a little bit different. We obviously know each other, have to guard, and sometimes we'll have a good zone offensive team. Sometimes we won't, going against it. So then you're like, hey, the zone was pretty good today. Well, look at the team you're going against. That really wasn't a good zone offensive team, or vice versa. Where like one group today when we went zone did a good job scoring and the other group didn't. So you could look at it and one group did good defensively and the other group didn't. It was the same group offensively and defensively. So, but we try our best. Sometimes it's not there. We try our best early to split the teams up relatively equal. And we like to look at different matchups, different lineups for things. But we'll see. We'll see.
Speaking with Isaac and AJ, how big has AJ coming back had an effect on Isaac playing?
I think just both of those guys going against each other really help. When guys score sometimes and they have size and they go against people in practice that are 6'7", 6'8", you feel like, hey man, he's really coming on. It feels good, but he's not going against a true center. And we all strive to get true centers. And we have two of them, so when they go against each other, they score in the post against each other. You know it counts. It's a real thing. So both those guys have done a good job in workouts doing that. it's hard sometimes in live play, especially if they get on a team where guards don't get them the basketball. I thought one group today that we had was really good getting AJ the ball, and I thought the other group was really poor at getting Isaac the ball. So that's not Isaac's fault. He's got to keep working at it, but anytime somebody gets more opportunities, they're going to look better than the other guy.